What do you know of young Inga's past?
She has never been particularly forthcoming with it, only that she was homeless for some time and that she was at the women's shelter before here.
And it is there that the Countess abused her power and manipulated her to uncover secrets of the family.
All this time she has been working for Margot, doing her dirty work?
I am afraid so, mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle is in a state of shock to learn that such a close friend of the family has betrayed them in such a cruel way. It must be devastating.
Is Maman aware?
You are the first I have told, mademoiselle. Next will be the authorities.
I'm afraid that we'll have to wait.
S'il te plaît, mademoiselle. We must go through the correct channels.
And we will. I want to see her punished to the fullest extent of the law. But we cannot telephone anyone, as the lines are still down.
Monsieur Archibald informed me earlier. I had hoped they would be working again. Last night's snow must have caused more damage than expected.
Last night? They have been done all weekend, Detective.
But he said that there was a phone call for the Major.
Detective? Are you okay?
So he's involved. How could I have been such a fool? I saw Mr. Sterling talk on the telephone, but I heard no ring.
Detective Poirot?
It was all a lie, a scene acted out for my benefit to throw me off the scent. If I believed the Major was still alive at that time, I had no reason to investigate anyone's whereabouts beforehand. Anyone being Monsieur Sterling and his staff.
Would you like me to fetch you a glass of water, Detective?
My apologies, mademoiselle. I was taken by surprise for a moment, but I have regained my composure. A glass of water is not required. Would you excuse
so it
me?
was the staff.
Merci.
The butler did it. That old chestnut. The family. What? But it's not the family. We're investigating the staff. My patience has grown thin. The guests and the staff of this house think it's acceptable to lie to my face when questioned and obstruct my investigation, but no more. We shall see how Monsieur Sterling and his staff are under some pressure. New mind map. I've been lied to for the last time. My suspicions initially led me to the guests, but now they are firmly placed on the staff. Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna cannot hide behind their lies any longer. It's not really lies, just, well, in case of Rihanna, it was more just she didn't mention her brother. Which is admittedly rather important, I would suppose. Do I want to talk to them? Is that the point? Apparently I've completed it. I think. No. I don't know what that symbol means on it. Right, so let's go to the southeast quarter. So let's go down to the butler's pantry, unless they're out here. Looks like Elizabeth is on her way to see me, but at such a late hour?
Mademoiselle, what a pleasure to see you.
Detective,
It is a rather late hour to be wandering the halls.
Oh, yes. Of course. I do not feel myself, Detective.
If that is the case, you should be resting. Allow me to help.
No, that's quite all right. I will see to my duties and return to bed.
What duties?
Lizzie, excuse me, Elizabeth. Lady Van den Bosch has been waiting for some time now.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Detective Poirot was just...
I'll see to the detective. You just head on up. Off you go.
Good night, Detective.
She wanted to tell us something.
Bonne nuit, mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth is certainly not herself. I thought the death of the Major had brought up uncomfortable memories of her beloved Luke, but it may be something else.
I'm sorry about her, Detective. As you can see, she is still not back to her usual bubbly self.
This weekend seems to have taken quite a toll on her.
She'll be right as rain in a couple of days. Now, what can I help you with?
As if by magic you appeared when needed. I would like to speak with you and the remaining staff. If you could gather them in the staff pantry.
At this hour, Detective? Is that really necessary?
I shall be the one that determines what is and what is not necessary, and this is very much the former.
As you wish, Detective. I'll see if Inge has finished preparing for breakfast.
And Mademoiselle Rihanna?
Yes, of course. I'll fetch her from the kitchen. Elizabeth may be some time with the lady of the house. Perhaps you'd like to start with us?
Very well. I shall speak with Mademoiselle Elizabeth when her duties are complete.
And preferably when you're not in the room.
While I am gathering the staff, Mr. Beckles is in the library. If you wish to join him, I could bring you both a night.
And we both get poisoned.
I wish to keep a clear head, but there is something I wish to discuss with Monsieur Beckers.
This is my opportunity to confront Monsieur Beckers about his dealings, or lack thereof, with Monsieur de Silva, without being disturbed. I don't know why you couldn't have just left him there. And then as we move... Wait. Oh, he's in the library. I was going down to the salon. And now we're stuck in here and we can't leave. Oh, there he is. Hugo Beckhaus.
Monsieur Beckers, it is rather late. The other guests have already retired to their rooms.
I didn't even see the time. It's easy to lose oneself in a library this impressive.
That is something we can agree on, monsieur.
I suppose I should be heading.
Un moment, monsieur. There are some matters that we must discuss.
Oh, what is it, detective?
I did not realize your relationship with Mademoiselle Conrad was so business-oriented.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Her proposal to make you somewhat of a star, a figurehead for the working man. What would you call that?
There was certainly no talk of making me a star. That is not the type of man I am. She wanted to write a piece on my work with the union, and I was happy to oblige.
Monsieur Beckers has always appeared to have the workers... What? Has always appeared to have the workers' intentions at the forefront of his decisions? Perhaps the thought of being remembered for something great was too much for him to pass up. Did your speech go the way you expected?
My speech? I'm not sure what speech.
You may save your false ramblings for your next audience. I am aware you spoke with the Major yesterday.
Whoever told you that has it wrong, detective.
Please, monsieur. The truth.
Okay, fine. Yes, the Major and I spoke, but it was not for long.
What was the manner of your conversation? From what I understand, it was not a light-hearted chat.
I was trying to convince him to speak with Ernesto. It's time we brought the strikes to an end.
And that was best approached by a shouting match?
He wouldn't listen to what I said. I spent so long preparing how I was going to convince him, but men like him are only swayed by one thing: money.
Monsieur Beckers is not wrong. Had he tried to grease the Major's palm, perhaps he would have been more successful.
It is said that money is the root of
Love
all
of money.
evil, but it can also be a rather powerful bargaining chip.
Well, he was bargaining with people's lives. If he had acted sooner, none of those men, my men, would have to die.
The Major oversaw security at the factories. Could he have done more to stop the strikes turning violent? I understand Monsieur de Silva has prepared a deal.
A deal? It was an insult.
And that is why you did not sign it?
I didn't sign it because the workers deserve so much more, not his pathetic attempts to get them back to work.
Did you think there was a chance for a better deal to be made?
I know there was. He's a pompous swine that cares for only himself and filling his pockets.
I'm sure I've heard that description of Monsieur de Silva before, or at least something similar. Push on Jacqueline's influence.
Mademoiselle Conrad can be quite convincing, can she not?
She has certainly taken several wealthy business partners by surprise with her knowledge and prowess. She knows how to use her womanly powers to get what she wants.
But she did not surprise or use you?
Me? Used me? Don't be ridiculous, detective. There were no games played at my expense.
Monsieur Beckers is quite a way with words and is a fan of his own voice. Perhaps I should allow him the opportunity to speak and open up without too much interruption and forcefulness. Even though she... curious yet. Even though she was able to convince you not to sign a deal?
No, she just reminded me of what I was fighting for.
I don't want to do either of these. You claim that you refused Monsieur de Silva's deal as it was not adequate for your men? Like, I want to ask ask questions.
And I stand by that. It was
Okay,
an
maybe
insult.
not.
A rather bold move to make such a decision on your own.
Are you prepared to take responsibility for your actions or lack thereof? Your job is to support the workers, but nothing you've done has got them any closer to the results you promised. So, yeah, honest.
I may not be perfect, but I've done everything I can.
Your efforts fell short in every respect. You claim to be the voice of the people, but you care about no one's voice or benefits but your own.
It's not as easy as just signing a piece of paper, Detective. It is a heavy weight to bear on one's shoulders. I consulted with others.
You yourself spoke of Mademoiselle Conrad's cunning in business.
And I told you, I was not one of her targets.
Tell me then, what was it she reminded you of? The acclaimed man of the people you would be known as if you pushed the factory owners for more?
It wasn't like that at all.
From where I am standing, it was she that was manipulating the terms of the deal, and you in the process. You were merely her pawn.
Okay, yes, I know. I shouldn't have listened to her. But what else could I do? Remain an unknown my whole life?
Yes,
I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt.
but your actions caused it.
It may not have been your intention, but we both know the result. You rolled the dice with those men's lives for fame, and you lost.
Are you from a large family?
What does that have to do with
The
anything?
desire for fame.
I have often wondered about the competition siblings face in a large
Attention.
family.
When you're young, it is the best feeling to know you have family that will stand by you, without even being asked. It is not until everyone starts carving their own path that you realize you're walking yours solo, and those that were beside you are now miles away. My older brothers were the athletes of the family. They both played soccer, and were the infatuation of every teenage girl. I'm sure you have seen the type.
Oui, monsieur, but I can assure you that was not I.
Then there was me. Quiet, timid, a shadow of the Becker brothers. My voice and very presence was forgotten and ignored. Nothing I could say or do would ever reach the bar they had set. But I always knew I was destined for great things. Years passed, and now that I no longer stood in the colossal ombre of my brothers, I could become my own man. When the position of union leader was posted, it was my chance to finally be heard. You hear politicians speak of the little or the common man? Well, that was me. And I knew what we wanted and what we needed. When I spoke, others listened. I held their gaze with a sense of pride, a sense that what I was doing was for the greater good. It was supposed to be my crowning achievement, lead the men to victory over the money-grabbing oppressors. But instead, all I did was lead them to their deaths.
Monsieur, it was not at your hands that these men died. The blame cannot lie solely on your
Keyword
shoulders.
solely.
Those responsible will be punished for their crimes. That you must
I
trust.
think one already has. Monsieur Becker's story is one of fighting to have one's voice heard, be it a single or one of the masses. I'm afraid he may be remembered for what he did, but not in the way he hoped. Okay, anything? No, nothing useful. Nothing comes from that. To the floor, to the first floor, then we head to the pantry. While speaking with Monsieur Beckers was not the reason for me being up at this hour, he was able to fill in some blanks regarding the Major, but not in getting any closer to discovering his killer. Perhaps the staff living quarters will. Okay, we've not been to the staff living quarters, so we're opening up a new area. Off this way. Can't go into the butler's pantry yet. To the staff quarters. Alright. Decent supply of logs. I just hope the staff also get to make use of them with this weather. Someone has a hammock. Newspaper. They're a few days old and do not hold a candle as to what has transpired here this weekend. But if they've been kept this long, they might be relevant to people's mindsets. Cupboard. Nothing interesting. Yeah, nothing. Luggage. Someone is planning on leaving. All mental issue must belong to the Major. What? Could have been Archibald's. Is that it? No. I expect the staff quarters. Okay. Oh, abandoned clothes. Rather luxurious jacket, the initials FH. Felix Hagen. Are these scruffy boots his as well? Why would they be left here, though? The items I found are most intriguing, require an explanation I believe only the staff can give. I shall meet them in the pantry.
Detective, what can we do for you?
You can help me by telling the truth, and in the process, help yourselves.
Sorry, Detective. It's a bit late in the night for riddles.
It is no riddle, monsieur. If I do not receive the truth, you shall all be charged as accessories to murder.
Detective, I think maybe you have been locked in this house for too long. We have already...
You have told me a version, and now I require honesty.
Right. New dialogue. We've got a couple of connections we can make. That might give us some more things to think about. Yeah, staff may be involved in the murder. Distraught about Luke.
I must take a different approach if...
Okay. Outside. The coat?
The pieces of the puzzle are finally
He
coming
didn't have
together.
a coat when he was outside. Would not have left such a fine coat in the staff area. Someone must have worn it. More importantly, however, who wore the Major's clothes? Okay. Get the medal?
Is there something?
Possibly. The ice with the phone call.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
The theory that the Major had been killed during dinner was nothing but a ruse. Why the staff covering for the real time of death? Okay. So now we talk to everyone and get a bit of insight.
Monsieur Sterling, is there anything you would like to add to your story?
I'm not sure what you think I have done, Detective.
Let us not string out this charade any longer.
The telephone call the Major received.
From his associate. I've already told you, Detective. I don't know who it was.
Do not worry yourself on such details now. I suppose they were lucky to have called when they did. Otherwise, they may not have gotten through at all, with the telephone lines being down as of yesterday.
Aye, Detective. Lucky, I guess.
Oh dear. Monsieur Sterling is no fool. I believe he's aware I suspect him of something. Perhaps some carefully worded questions are all that are needed for him to slip up.